Welcome back to the never-ending codex. Games Workshop just won't stop pumping out these amazing Space Marine models. Honestly, I'm really excited about them.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to be actually ranking them, not necessarily in the order of the best, but kind of the ones we think you're going to be seeing, the most interesting. And this factors in a lot of things. We'll talk about it more specifically when we look at the individual units. But just to give you an overall metric of what we're going to be discussing today, this is your ranked 12 new Space Marine units. Let's check it out. So the first three are very much a wash, right? I think we have a kind of a tier system when we're looking at this. So the first three sort of take it with a grain of salt. But I personally, I did not expect myself to be as excited about this top pick as I am. And this is your new Chonkers Heavy Intercessors.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why we needed this, but now that I see it, I need it.
I almost feel terrible about this because look how many Intercessors we have. I even went all in on the Assault Intercessors, and it's like, cool, you got me. And then like, but what about a new troop choice that's kind of cooler than both of those?
So cool.
How would you like to redo 50 infantry for each one of your collections? And it's, I do want to.
I do.
But at the same time, I feel I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. They were just really cool. We're seeing this massive influx of Gravis armor.
Yeah.
These guys, so first of all, they are troops. They are core. They are reasonably priced. We think
That's right.
They're 28 points for the regular model. There's of course the heavy bolter weapons, which are about an additional 10 points.
Sure.
And so what? You're paying 10 points for an extra wound, an extra toughness, and one thing that we actually haven't mentioned, I think, in a lot of our videos is the Gravis-only stratagem.
Oh, right.
When you're getting shot at with a damage 1 weapon, you get +1 to your armor.
Amazing.
So you're 2 up in the open and a 1 up in cover. And
it's fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, and they really do have a lot of firepower, and they still fight like Intercessors.
Yep.
So they don't have the Sergeant special weapons or anything, but
that's true.
The reason I think we've got this top of list is because you're just going to see a lot of them.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have an army based on them, it's going to be very common to have even a single squad of them.
Yeah.
They're going to be very, very pervasive across the game. I can't wait for this kit to come out. I think even your Imperial Fist in particular, you're going to do a lot of them up in yellow, right?
That's the biggest thing I'm most excited about. I'm at least going to have a full squad of 10. Again, Chapter Master is a single unit. So you want to say, okay, what's the core unit I want to buff? So I'm looking at those. A big 10-man squad? Heavy guns with the big 10-man. Re-rolling.
It's amazing.
Giving them, it's so good. So very excited. But again, they're going to be great for all chapters.
Yeah.
And just a good kind of utility pick. You know, even if you like Assault Intercessors, these guys are very much the shooty boys.
Yeah, and it's worth noting we're not talking about Assault Intercessors in this list because we're talking about everything that came after Indominus.
That's absolutely
This is everything new in the Codex. Assault Intercessors would probably even be up there with them or even above them.
They would probably be above them
because they're amazing. But we're just talking about new in the Codex, not the Indominus box. So what's up next?
So the next thing I want to talk about is a model that I think has been highly, highly anticipated. This is the Primaris Chaplain on bike.
Oof, I love this sculpt. Is amazing.
It's so cool. And
it's the start of the characters on bike.
Yep.
We've got no other characters, new Primaris characters on bike, which I'm sad about because I really wanted a Primaris captain on bike.
Yeah.
I wanted everything. I wanted the Apothecary on bike. I wanted the Techmarine on bike. Give it all back to me.
Right.
But fine. We'll take the Chaplain, and the Chaplain's amazing.
He's so good, and this definitely does open those floodgates again. We had thought that the bike characters were lost to us. Now they're back. He's a Primaris Chaplain on bike. What more can I say? He's tough. He moves fast. One of the reasons this is on the top of our list is because either this fulfills a role that you didn't have before, or it replaces a role and does it better, right? A lot of people, myself included, enjoyed a jump Chaplain just to get like the charge
you need to be able to
keep
up with things. You need the auras in the right spot.
It didn't feel great though. Only having 4 wounds, not being Primaris.
And it often didn't match the theme of people's armies because you had a lot of Primaris models and then you had this one little old jump chaplain. It just was kind of, it felt almost like gamey. Like it wasn't the right pick.
Exactly. So this makes it much more fluffy and he's great. He's a really great beat stick character that you can bring back.
And he's super tough. And the chaplain abilities are so good, better than ever. And you want them, but you want them exactly where you need them on the board. He advances 20 inches. I'm really into him. We're definitely going to have him.
Absolutely.
I'm buying him day 1 for the White Scars at the very least because he's really good for them.
I keep thinking like, oh, I can convert him up or something, and then I look back at the actual sculpt and I'm like, oh my god.
No, don't convert him. Just buy this model. It's good.
I have to. So the next one is the most controversial in our group because I kind of hate the way it looks, but it's really good in the game. The ATV. This is the new, it's the Invader.
The Invader ATV.
And this thing is just crazy, crazy point efficient. It's like 80 points. A lot of DAC, you take
Tons of
multi-meltas, onslaught Gatling cannon, and worst of all, it's a bike, so it gets lots of benefits from that.
So we're hoping. Okay, it has the biker keyword.
Yeah.
The biker keyword gives a number of issues. It unlocks a ton of strats.
Yep.
And it unlocks the fact that apothecaries can revive them,
right.
which is unfair. So
sense.
we're hoping that that gets fact, and hopefully by the time you're watching this, it has been fact. As of today, we have fun with the ideas of how silly it would be for this thing to have the biker keyword. Even without the biker keyword, it is still very points effective, very fast, plays the game really well.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that we will be looking at, comparing it to the units moving forward, like the Gladiator and the new Land Spears, and you'll kind of see how efficient this unit is for what it does. I obviously play Orc Buggies, and this unit makes me really jealous. So.
It's better than the Orc Buggies, yeah.
It is.
In basically every way, except it looks way worse than them.
That is true. They does not have the style.
This is an opportunity to convert. I haven't decided how I'm going to convert them, because I'll buy a few for the White Scars.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I haven't decided how to convert them yet, because I don't like what they are today.
I think you should take scrap jets and make them Space Marines. That would be amazing.
That actually sounds good. Let's do it.
So number 4 is far and away probably better than most of the rest of the list. This is the Gladiator Reaper. So the Gladiator is this new, basically Primaris version of your Predator, right?
Yeah.
The first thing I want to say, this is based off the Impulsor chassis, and yet it's toughness 8.
So it's a mini impulsor. Sorry, it's like a mix between an impulsor and a repulsor.
Yeah.
But it is all the way at toughness 8.
Yep.
So it is pretty beefy, and it has a ton of shooting.
Yep.
I love these models. I'm so excited. I think I'm going to do a bunch of them for the Ultramarines.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for them. I think they just got a great look to them. And the Reaper in particular is the one with lots of small shots.
Yep.
And for its points, for its toughness, the amount of shots it has is kind of unreasonable.
It's kind of disgusting. It really is. It's the classic like bunch of onslaught cannons and a bunch of other profiles that are basically the same, but what it amounts to is a ridiculous amount of those shots. Another quick note on the Gladiator chassis, this applies to all 3, but I think it benefits this one the most. It is a repulsor. Does it have the repulsor keyword? So you can do things like the fall back and shoot for the command points, do things like -2 to charge, and it has the new smoke screen rule.
Yeah, this is 1 CP after you're targeted, and it's a -1 to hit. It's like lightning fast reactions, but it's 1 CP, and it's on Space Marines.
On a T8 3-up armor body?
Yeah.
What?
So these things are really good. You're going to see a bunch of them, even without their rerolls. They're really good, and if you think of them in like an Iron Hands army with the reroll, or sorry, the feel no pain, the operating on top profile, and a Techmarine giving them 2s to hit, they don't need rerolls. They're doing just fine at that point.
That's right. Now the next one in the list is another Gladiator variant, and this is the Valiant. The Gladiator Valiant.
That's right.
And this is
lots of names here.
Right, I know. This is the one that has a moderate amount of high-value shots.
That's right. It's like an elite killing tank.
It is actually, yeah. And I like it. One of the reasons I do like it is it has a bit of a longer range than even the Reaper, so you can kind of stay back, play cagey.
That's right.
Especially if you're looking at playing more than one, you kind of want to just expose one, smoke screen, have the other one playing these angles, and it has long enough range it can do that.
Yep.
Again, having said that though, you start to get nervous when we have high-value shots with no rerolls, right?
Yeah, sure.
And that's the main reason that I don't like it quite as much as the Reaper.
It just means you won't spam them.
Yeah,
exactly. Like you have one of them, good value, but you don't need to overdo it.
It's great.
And they're super classy looking models. I'm really,
so cool.
really into them. I'm also into these next models. This is the Storm Speeder, the first of the 3 new Primaris Land Speeders. This is the Thunderstrike. This one has some really kind of interesting mix of weapons. I really love it.
It's so they're mixed, but luckily they actually are cohesive, which is not something that we always see with these new Primaris units. So similar sort of profile, mid to longish range. I think so. One thing to know about a lot of these is they traditionally have been having a 24-inch gun and then a 36-inch gun.
That's right.
And they just flip-flop. So you're kind of stuck at basically 24
inches. Yeah.
But because of these mixed profiles, you can do interesting things where you're in range of different types of targets and keeping that kind of this balance of these ranges. So that's how you're going to be playing it.
Can you take these in? Can you take these in squads?
I actually can't recall for this one. The Gladiator,
I think
obviously
that would be really oppressive if you could.
Well, especially with some of those strats.
The strats, because that's particularly there's some armies like White Scars that have a lot of benefits for that. So
it is a speeder. It does have all those keywords. But yeah, so it's
really, really cool. Well, we've got the next speeder. This is the Hailstrike. This is the one with the kind of most amount of DACA, right? And generally having more DACA is just better because you can chip wounds from anything.
Exactly.
And it's just the one that fills all the roles. And so this is another great model.
It is. And again, it's very fuzzy around these two because it's like decent amount of volume, high amount of volume, At the end of the day, I think they're both pretty damn close as far as competitiveness.
It dies a lot easier than the Reaper, though.
So this is why I'm so concerned with range on these guys, right? The Gladiators are T8, they're tough. These guys are only T6 with definitely less wounds, and so you really have to be cagey with them. They're tough land speeders, but they're still land speeders.
Exactly.
So I'm really nervous about that. But again, they're still interesting, still good, and perhaps more of a double role of like engaging on fronts, things like that. You can kind of push out and stuff like that. So the last of these like new big vehicles I want to talk about is the Gladiator Lancer. This guy looks cool. Sounds cool. He's a Lancer. He has the equivalent of the Executioner weapon, the Laser Destroyer.
Really good at tank killing. It's just not enough shots.
It's only 2 shots.
Yeah.
And a note, this also applies to the Executioner. So if you haven't seen this yet, they lose the ability to double shoot. Instead, they gain +1 to hit. So the +1 hit's nice.
It's still good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
not oppressive.
Makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, it's better on him than it is on the Executioner because the Executioner is so expensive.
Yeah, you're not paying for all that fluff.
Yeah,
right.
And this one I think you're taking as a style pick because it does look really rad. Yeah. It's the one that looks most like the classic Predator, just taken up into Primaris. So if you like that aesthetic, this is going to be good.
I also love the name because it's the Lancer, and it's like he's going to lance you, but it's his guns.
Yeah,
and it's great. So, anyways, so we actually do have one more speeder. This is the Hammerstrike. Again,
I don't love the weapons on this one as much.
Yeah, I just don't like the weapons. Too high value. This is the one you can put multi-meltas on.
Yeah.
So you're getting super close, super high value shots with no rerolls, and he's not that tough.
Yeah.
So
it's good, still good.
None of these are bad. But.
So yeah, in this 12 list, everything here is good and playable.
Yeah.
It's just some of these things are through the stratosphere good.
Totally.
The next one down is the Hammerfall Bunker. Now I love this. This is very StarCraft.
Yeah.
This is a bunker. It deep strikes. And it has a very strange rule. It has a rule that the gun on it shoots at every available target. So if you put a heavy bolter on it, it has flamers or heavy bolters. You'd always put the heavy bolters because the flamer is silly.
Yeah.
So you have a heavy bolter on it all the time, and it shoots at every single target on the board. So if you're a Tau army and you've got like 20 2-man drone squads, it fires at all of them. And that's kind of wacky.
It's so wacky. This one's such a wild card, which is one of the reasons it's kind of lower on the list, just because I have no idea. It is expensive. It's like 175 points for it, and it can't move.
And it's only got the couple shots. It just shoots at everything.
3 heavy bolter. It's like, I think, 1 actual heavy bolter.
One actually heavy bolter.
So it's such a wild card. I think it's very meta dependent, right? Against MSU, it'll be amazing.
What would you put inside of it? Is there like
I don't even know if there's a capacity on it.
So it just shoots.
So there's one thing that you guys will start to see now that there's more images coming out. This was sort of advertised as like the Thunderstrike, what it's called, the Hammerfall. But in the photos in the book, it's like quite small.
It's small. So it's really just a weapons platform.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it. I just assumed it was like a StarCraft bunker because it looked exactly like a StarCraft bunker.
But it's like
just a miniature one.
Yeah,
they've miniaturized
like a lot of the Space Marine stuff. I understand the model production difficulties. The last one, you were actually just talking about this model because you're just excited for it in general.
Yeah, the Primaris Techmarine. We kind of have one here, right? This is the Iron Daddy.
That's right.
But they're basically making a generic version of him that any army could take, and I've always loved Techmarines, and this guy looks so badass.
Such a cool model.
Really, really cool, and taking the upgraded Techmarines is really strong, especially if you're playing those vehicles. Or this is the way that if you don't have Chapter Master, he actually makes the vehicles better, so I'm really into it.
That's right. Yeah, you can awaken those vehicles.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the only reason he's down on this list is because he's a Techmarine with 1 more wound and looks cool, right?
Very situational.
So it's just, if you're going to run a Techmarine,
great model to collect, but you're not going to put him in very many armies, especially taking up one of those HQ slots. It's like you're going to have to build an army around him.
Right.
And very few people are going to do that. There is the last model on here, and it's the Firestrike Servo-Turret. It's a cool little gun encampment, and it's totally fine. The main thing about it is that it's just static, and it's a movement game. Every model you want to be able to move, and something that's generally static is really hard to make work.
Yeah, it's just it's very slow. It's tough, but it's not that much tougher than even like a orc mech gun, for example. And it's not the cheapest thing. So this combination, I'm sure someone will come out with a cool list around them. I love like tarantulas and things like that. So traditionally, I was expecting to enjoy this more, but I'm just a little worried about things like the movement and the points, the toughness.
I think if I buy one of these, which faction should I put it with here?
Oh gosh,
it's really hard trying to find a good fit for it. I think probably taking it with the Iron Hands.
That's what I'm thinking.
Is the way to go.
Yeah.
So I'll pick a couple of them up and we'll see. It looks rad. It's got like a great feel to it.
I do like that. Again, we have the fortifications coming in, and this is like a fortification-like thing, which is cool. It's nice to kind of feel like there's an actual like ongoing battle. So I like it. Obviously, all of these units will be making appearances on the channel.
Yeah, and they're all excellent.
They're all great.
Yeah.
They're so good. Especially just a note on those tanks, we're being very critical of them, but again, they're really, really powerful. They had to make up for the fact that they lost the rerolls from core.
That's right.
And by and large, I think they do. It's pretty scary stuff.
They're very points effective.
Yeah.
You know, a repulsor is a lot of points, but these gladiators are actually more in a reasonable range, like in that 200 range.
Because they say, okay, well, do you not want all the extra guns and the transport capacity? Let's just cut that off.
Which you don't want. We never wanted.
Nah.
This is the tank we always wanted. It's like, give me the repulsor, and then could you just shave like 120 points off it?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sure, we did it for you. And you're like, oh, that's good.
That's real sexy.
And it looks great. So I'm excited. It would have been horrible if they did reroll all hits. Imagine, right? So I'm actually really glad they took that away.
And that's the truth about it, right? These are all great changes for the game. It's much healthier, and I think it's important to remember that. Obviously, it's a bummer when your stuff gets nerfed, but at the end of the day, it's better. I'm going to be happier. It's no fun when people feel oppressed by the army. So this is great. I'm excited to run tanks.
Yeah, so we're going to be playing a lot of Space Marine games now. We're only going to be able to feature a handful of these units in the next coming weeks because the models for most of them are not even out yet. But of course, as soon as they come up, we'll be painting them up. We'll be getting them on the tabletop, so you're definitely going to want to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the content we have over the next couple weeks, or that great content when some of these models finally do drop. Hopefully they don't make us wait too long. And if you're so inclined, you can check out our new Titans Pro, which is our $5 a month membership here on YouTube. You can just hit that join button, and it's going to give you exclusive access to members-only videos that we do all the time, as well as cool other benefits like our Discord group, where you can vote on upcoming games, army lists, so much more. And last but not least, it also has really cool custom 40K emoji you can use in our live games. We put a lot of work into getting these done, and they look awesome.
They're so cool.
Tons of fun there. So thanks again for checking this out, and we hope to see you next time.